Imagine this. You wake up one morning, step outside, and look up at the sky. It's quiet. No stars, no clouds, and no moon. Not a cloud covering it. Not a crescent. Not an eclipse. It's just gone. No announcement. No explanation. The moon, our faithful companion, has vanished. And with that, the real nightmare begins. Because the moon isn't just a glowing ball in the night sky. It's a hidden gear in a massive machine. A machine that keeps our planet in balance. So, what actually happens if the moon just disappears? Let's start with one of the most immediate and noticeable consequences: the tides. For most of us, tides are just something we notice at the beach. A wave that pulls back, a shoreline that changes throughout the day. But behind that simple rhythm lies a complex system, and the moon is its conductor. Roughly 70% of Earth's tidal forces are driven by the moon's gravity. As the moon orbits Earth, it pulls on the oceans, creating the rise and fall we call high and low tide. If the moon suddenly vanished, that gravitational pull would vanish with it. The sun would still create some tides, but only about a third of what we experience today. The result? Drastically weaker tides. That might sound harmless. Less water splashing on the shore. Maybe a few disappointed surfers. But the consequences go much deeper. Entire coastal ecosystems depend on tidal movement to function. Mangrove forests, tidal pools, and wetlands rely on these cycles to regulate oxygen, nutrients, and temperature. These areas are home to hundreds of species, from shellfish and crustaceans to rare birds and fish. Without the moon, the water becomes more stagnant. Less movement means less oxygen. Less oxygen means fewer living organisms. A once vibrant, pulsing environment becomes a dying zone. Fish that rely on shallow, tide-regulated waters to spawn, like herring and flounder, may struggle to reproduce. Birds that feed on crabs and mollusks in tidal zones would lose access to food. And we humans? We're not untouched. Nearly 1 billion people live along coastlines. Many depend on fishing, seaweed farming, and shellfish harvesting, all of which are tied to the tides. Without them, entire communities could lose their livelihoods. Ports and sea transport are also affected. Ships rely on high tides for loading and unloading. Without that natural lift, logistics become more complex and more expensive. And then there's the climate. Tides help circulate warm and cold water across the globe. This circulation helps regulate global weather. Weakened tides mean a more layered ocean, and that can lead to more frequent heat waves, droughts, and violent storms. All of this just from the disappearance of one thing: the moon. A celestial object we've looked at for millennia, but rarely understood how essential it truly is. And this is only the beginning. Right now, the moon does more than pull on our oceans. It acts like a giant cosmic stabilizer. You see, Earth spins on an axis that's tilted about 23.5 degrees. This tilt is the reason we have seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter, and why our climate has been relatively stable for thousands of years. But without the moon's steadying influence, this tilt wouldn't stay fixed. The moon's gravity acts like a counterweight, holding Earth's axis steady as it spins. Without that pull, our planet would start to wobble or precess in unpredictable ways. Imagine a spinning top suddenly losing balance and wobbling all over the place. This wobble means our seasons wouldn't be consistent. One year, summer might be scorching hot. The next year, barely warm at all. For plants, animals, and humans, this chaos in seasonal patterns would be devastating. Crops depend on predictable growing seasons. Animals rely on seasonal cues for migration, hibernation, and reproduction. But that's not all. Earth's wobble would also affect its climate patterns on a larger scale. The shifting tilt could cause rapid changes in weather, intensified storms, unpredictable rainfall, and dramatic temperature swings. Over time, this instability could push ecosystems to the brink, disrupting food chains and threatening species survival. And for us humans, this means an uncertain future. Our infrastructure, agriculture, and water resources all depend on climate predictability. Without the moon, Earth would become a planet of extremes, where the rules keep changing and survival is never guaranteed. The moon might seem distant and silent, but it's been quietly keeping our world balanced and livable. With it gone, Earth's axis begins to spin out of control, and the consequences ripple through every corner of our planet. Imagine a world where the night sky no longer glows with gentle moonlight. When the moon disappears, so does the only natural light that has guided and governed life on Earth for millions of years. Nights become as dark as coal. Without comfort or direction, moonlight is more than just a beautiful sight. It is a vital timekeeper for countless species, an invisible pulse that controls behavior, hunting, mating, and migration. Many animals depend on the lunar cycle to regulate their biological clocks and ensure survival. Take sea turtles, for example, which lay their eggs on beaches. When hatchlings emerge, they use the faint moonlight reflected on the ocean to find their way to the water. Without this light, many wander in the wrong direction, falling prey to predators or dying in dry environments. This could cause drastic declines in turtle populations, impacting entire marine ecosystems. Nocturnal predators like owls, bats, and foxes have evolved hunting strategies based on the moon's phases. Moonlight increases hunting opportunities, but also the risk of being seen. With nights plunged into total darkness, these animals would be forced to alter their habits. Some may hunt less efficiently, while others become more vulnerable to their own predators. The effects ripple through food chains and can destabilize local ecosystems. The lunar cycle also influences biological rhythms beyond light. Many marine species, corals, fish, and crabs, synchronize vital life events such as spawning and egg-laying with the moon's phases and the tides. Without the moon, they lose this critical timing, leading to disorganized reproduction and lower offspring survival. This disrupts nature's clockwork. Migrating birds may lose their navigational cues, and populations could shrink as biodiversity declines. What was once a finely tuned symphony of life turns to chaos. Humans are affected too. Moonlight has long served as a natural regulator of sleep and mood. Studies show that lunar phases influence melatonin production, the hormone controlling our sleep-wake cycles. A world without moonlight may lead to increased sleep problems, stress, and mental health issues. Meanwhile, moonless nights would intensify the impact of artificial light pollution from cities and towns. Without the moon as a natural beacon, artificial lighting dominates, destroying the night sky and negatively affecting both wildlife and people. All of this means that the moon is far more than a beautiful celestial object. It is a key to maintaining life's rhythm on Earth. When the moon disappears, nights grow not just darker, but life itself loses its beat. Beyond the immediate chaos caused by the moon's sudden disappearance lies a far darker future. The moon's role in stabilizing Earth's axis and regulating tides has long-term effects that ripple across the entire planet and ultimately impact us humans. Without the moon, Earth's rotation and tilt would wobble uncontrollably, causing seasons to shift wildly from year to year. This would create a climate instability that's hard to imagine. Agriculture, the foundation of our food supply, depends on predictable seasons. With chaotic seasonal shifts, crops would fail, and famines could become common. Weather patterns would grow more extreme and unpredictable. Storms would strike harder and more often. Droughts would lengthen and intensify, and floods would become more destructive. Our water resources would become unstable, severely impacting cities and farmland alike. But the consequences aren't only physical. Human psychology is deeply connected to natural rhythms. Losing the moon could increase stress and anxiety as our biological clocks lose their cues. We evolved in harmony with Earth's cycles, and without them, mental health problems may become more widespread. Our societies, already vulnerable to climate change, would face enormous challenges. Food shortages, floods, extreme weather, and rising disease rates would strain resources, infrastructure, and political systems. Conflicts over water and food could intensify, forcing millions to flee their homes. All of this stems from a single, seemingly distant celestial body, one we took for granted. The moon has been Earth's silent guardian for billions of years. We have gazed at it in wonder, yet rarely have we grasped how crucial it truly is. It quietly stabilizes our planet's axis, moderates climate, and orchestrates the tides that sustain countless ecosystems. It governs natural rhythms for animals and humans alike. From migration and reproduction to sleep and mood, if the moon disappeared overnight, the world as we know it would unravel, ecosystems collapsing, seasons losing their rhythm, nights growing pitch black, and humanity facing a future of uncertainty. The moon isn't just a glowing rock in the sky. It's a vital gear in the intricate machinery of Earth's life support system. So next time you look up at the night sky and see the moon shining down, remember, it's not just light, it's life itself.